I think of myself as a spiritual practitioner, because for me, everything I do, it begins and it ends with spirit. For me, I cannot just move through the world thinking about the rational, the logical, the intellectual, the scientific. I need to, in order to feel empowered, I need to believe and connect to a higher power outside of myself. And I don't necessarily think about it as necessarily God or so loaded in that way, but for me there's something very empowering, as a being to remember and to remind myself that there's an energy that we can tap into, in the cosmos, in the universe, that we can all benefit from. So my work as part of the Biennale this year is a work called The Central Sun, which is actually part of a larger installation called Resonant Frequencies. And with this work I am exploring the possibility, the potential of sound healing for this time. I'm thinking about, in particular, the role of sound healing for Black, queer, trans, non-binary bodies as a starting point, but as a way of thinking about how everyone can access deeper embodiment and deeper transformation through sound. Yeah, I began to introduce healing frequencies in my work when I realized the impact it was having in my own life. It really encouraged me to feel into my own experience of my body differently, and as a result I wanted to invite other people into the experience. Because if I think about who I was before I made that work and then who I am after, there's been a huge transformation, like even in that process of making that work. And so for me it's about wanting to invite others, wanting to create a space where it's not just an individual experience, but I actually might make it a collective experience. And so that's why the work is this, big, kind of almost monumental structure. I wanted to think not just about the individual experience of listening and healing, but actually how do we collectivize an experience of healing and transformation for this time. So for me, it's also about saying, okay, the Yoruba creation story, about breathing into sand is much like the creation story in other parts of the world. So it's about, tapping into my own specific lineage, but also about thinking, actually, look at all the ways that all these other ancestries and indigenous communities also had very similar origin stories, which for me kind of again demonstrate how much we are connected rather than separate. And so that's what I want to reaffirm, especially in a moment like this, when there is so much division, that actually to remind ourselves that there is this, shared humanity, and that really we do start from the same source, which is sound.